So what if the key to solving uh, climate change or fixing the broken economy and, finding your ultimate purpose in life,
Right.
what if it wasn't a new piece of green technology or some radical political policy or even like a self-help book?
That would be a relief, honestly.
Right. But what if the blueprint for a literal utopia hinged entirely on your physical refusal to ever lie to yourself again?
I mean, it sounds like a philosophical thought
It's
experiment.
horrible.
But the sources we're looking at today treat it as a literal structural mechanism for rebuilding the universe.
Oh.
So, for this deep dive, we're looking at a highly detailed lecture transcript alongside this very dense whiteboard diagram. And it outlines the core philosophy of a new religious movement called Daesun Jinriho.
And usually when you dive into religious or esoteric texts, the vibe is very, I don't know, abstract.
Oh, yeah, completely.
You read about enlightenment or cosmic vibrations,
Right.
and it feels like looking at a distant galaxy through a telescope. It's beautiful, sure, but completely detached from the reality of, figuring out how to pay your rent or panicking about AI taking your job.
Exactly. And the lecturer in our transcript, they clearly recognize that exact disconnect.
Yeah.
Their goal in this session is to decipher a foundational text for their movement called the Yoram. It's a short text, but terrifyingly profound in its implications.
Terrifyingly profound is a good way to put it.
Right. So, to make it digestible, the lecturer translates some truly mind-bending spiritual concepts into three incredibly modern earthly obsessions that, you, the listener, worry about every day. And
Yes.
those are your welfare, your environment, and your personal achievement.
And our mission today is to pull apart this blueprint. And just to be totally clear up front, we are approaching this as your impartial guides.
Absolutely.
We aren't endorsing this theology, and we certainly aren't like taking any sides politically or spiritually.
Yeah.
We are simply exploring the sheer mechanical scale of the utopian vision laid out in these sources.
Because the logic it uses to build this hypothetical world is just fascinating.
It really is. So to start, the transcript actually opens with the lecturer expressing a fair bit of frustration, right?
They do. They feel that everyday people, and even some of their own followers, completely misunderstand the baseline objective of the movement.
Right.
Like when the average person hears the word religion, they default to this very transactional moral framework.
Yeah, the classic model. You behave well, you don't steal from your neighbor, you help a little old lady cross the street, and in exchange,
You get a reward.
exactly, the universe, or a deity, gives you a gold star and a blessing. It's basically behavior modification.
But the text argues that viewing it that way completely misses the mark. The Yoram isn't proposing a system to make you a, quote, nice person.
No, not at all.
It is proposing a total, irreversible overhaul of reality. The lecturer emphasizes that if you don't grasp the sheer scale of this, nothing else they say will make sense.
And the scale is wild. The lecturer uses three specific terms to frame this, and I want to take them one by one because dropping them all at once is just a lot.
It's a lot to process, yeah.
So first they talk about mind transformation. The translated Korean term used in the source is Jeonsin Gaebyeok.
Right, which implies a fundamental reopening or like a rebooting of human consciousness.
Okay.
It's not about changing your opinion on something, it's about changing the very architecture of how your mind processes existence.
Wow. And then, building on that, the text introduces human remodeling, or Ingen Gecho. That sounds incredibly intense.
It really does.
Remodeling implies tearing out the drywall and the plumbing of what makes us human.
Yeah, because the physical and energetic makeup of a human being is fundamentally altered in this framework to hold a higher capacity of cosmic energy.
Yeah.
And that naturally forces the third term, which is world transformation or Sege Gebiok.
Okay, let's unpack this. So we aren't just talking about a societal shift. It's like, okay, imagine a user thinking they're downloading a minor software patch for their phone just to fix a battery drain issue.
Right, a quick update.
Yeah, but the program they just installed is actually attempting to replace the phone's entire operating system, melt down and upgrade the physical hardware in their hand, and simultaneously rewire the global internet infrastructure.
That is exactly it.
You think you're getting a bug fix, but you're getting a new universe.
That analogy hits the nail on the head. The text explicitly demands this evolutionary leap. But this brings up an immediate rhetorical problem for the lecturer.
Which is?
Well, if you walk up to a stressed-out commuter on the subway and offer them participation in world transformation, they're just going to walk away.
Oh, 100%. I've got places to be.
Exactly. They're worried about their mortgage, their health care, getting to work on time.
Which is such a brilliant pedagogical pivot by the lecturer. They look at this cosmic blueprint and translate it into 3 pillars that the commuter actually cares about.
Right.
So the first one listed on the whiteboard notes is ultimate welfare. And for you and me, welfare means a safety net.
Yeah.
You mean Social Security, accessible hospitals, knowing you won't starve if you lose your job.
But the source text reframes this entirely.
Huh.
The concept of ultimate welfare is mapped to the idea of an earthly paradise.
Okay.
In this philosophy, true welfare isn't about government checks or universal basic income. It's the absolute systemic elimination of a concept called GEOBAC.
GEOBAC, which they define as karmic, debt, disasters, and internal suffering.
Right. So let's follow the logic here. The text argues that our current social welfare systems only treat the symptoms of GEOBAC.
Like putting a Band-Aid on it.
Exactly. If you carry karmic debt, meaning energetic imbalances created by past wrongs, the universe inevitably balances the ledger.
Okay, so the debt gets collected.
Yes. That collection of debt manifests in our lives as sudden illnesses, car accidents, violent conflict, or deep psychological pain. Ultimate welfare means erasing the debt itself so that the tragedy never occurs in the first place.
Okay, wait, I have to stop and push back on the mechanics of this, because I'm looking at the diagram, and the core requirement to achieve this ultimate welfare is a practice called mujagi,
Right, mujagi.
and the translation provided is non-self-deception, basically radical self-honesty.
Yes.
But I don't understand the causal link here. If I refuse to lie to myself about, say, being jealous of my coworker, how does that prevent a random car crash? How does me being honest with myself build a utopian welfare state?
I know, it seems like a massive leap until you map out the psychological and energetic chain reaction that's described in the text.
Okay, walk me through it.
So the philosophy posits that if you achieve absolute mujagi, meaning there's zero friction between your deepest conscience and your conscious thoughts, it becomes structurally impossible for you to deceive anyone else.
Oh, because the outward action is just a reflection of the inward state.
Exactly.
If I can't fake it to myself, I physically cannot fake it to you.
Right. And deceiving others or acting out of alignment with that pure conscience is the literal definition of sin in this framework.
I see.
Sin is not just a moral failing here. It's a tangible action that generates GEOBAC, that karmic debt we talked about.
Ah, okay, so the debt isn't some abstract punishment from on high. It's the literal fallout of people acting dishonestly and selfishly, which just compounds over time into societal suffering and physical disaster.
You got it. Therefore, if you practice mujagi, you cut off the generation of debt at the source.
Wow.
You stop harming others, which stops the cycle of retribution. Radical self-honesty becomes the engine of this utopian welfare state. If nobody in a society is deceiving themselves, nobody is wronging anyone else. The friction that causes suffering simply evaporates, and with it, the need for hospitals or social safety nets.
That is a staggering reframe of sociology.
It really is.
So let's play this out. Let's say humanity achieves this. We're all radically honest. We have zero karmic debt. We treat each other perfectly.
Right.
But we still live on Earth. And right now, the rivers are drying up. Microplastics are in the soil. The air is polluted. Your personal welfare only goes so far if the physical world you inhabit is collapsing.
Well, the lecturer anticipates that exact limitation, which leads directly to the physical world. The second pillar on the whiteboard is ultimate environment, mapped to the concept of earthly heaven.
Okay, so think about the things that keep you up at night regarding the physical world. Water scarcity, climate change, the soil being too depleted to grow food.
Yeah, the big existential threats.
The text confronts those modern anxieties by proposing an environment upgraded into a permanent, self-sustaining loop.
And the specific details are fascinating. The transcript describes an existence entirely free of pollution, where agriculture requires zero back-breaking labor.
Sign me up.
Right. Like today, a farmer exhausts the soil, relies on chemical fertilizers, harvests, and starts the grueling cycle over again. But the text envisions an earthly heaven where you plant a seed once, and it yields fruit continuously year after year without ever depleting the Earth's energy.
It essentially describes the planet turning into a fully automated cosmic smart home.
That's a great way to put it.
There's actually a specific mention of the fear of water running dry.
Yep.
In this upgraded environment, Resource depletion is mathematically impossible.
Right.
But again, I need to know the how. We have centuries of industrial pollution baked into the planet. How does the text claim we transition from this toxic reality to a pristine paradise?
So the transcript outlines a highly specific, almost science fiction-esque mechanism for this transition.
Okay.
It describes an impending radical purification process where a powerful cosmic energy literally burns the top layer of the Earth.
Burns.
Yes, the specific phrase used is Sikog Ja 3 Chi, which roughly translates to the top 3 meters, or about 10 feet, of the Earth's soil.
Wait. That sounds like an apocalyptic scenario. If you burn the top 10 feet of the Earth, you destroy the entire biosphere. You destroy us.
Oh, the lecturer clarifies that it's not destruction in the physical combustion sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an energetic cleansing. Think about why the text specifies 3 meters. The top 10 feet of the Earth's crust is where all of human history is buried.
Oh, wow.
It's where our agriculture happens, where our pollution settles, where our graves are dug. It is the physical storage drive of all human trauma and toxicity.
It's the geographic footprint of our karmic debt.
Precisely. By energetically purging those specific top 3 meters, the cosmic energy erases the accumulated negative energy and pollution. It wipes the slate clean, leaving a pristine, fertile, heaven-like physical world right here on the surface. That is the world transformation made literal.
Okay, so let's check the scorecard. We have ultimate welfare. Humans are safe, perfectly honest, and free of suffering.
Check.
We have ultimate environment. The Earth is completely purified, providing endless food and water with zero labor.
Check.
So,
Oh.
what do we do all day?
And that is the ultimate existential trap, isn't it?
It is. It sounds like a Twilight Zone episode where you arrive in paradise, but after 1,000 years of sitting by a pristine river with nothing to struggle against, you just lose your mind from the sheer boredom.
Well, the architects of this philosophy deeply understood human psychology. A perfect environment and perfect health are meaningless without purpose.
Right.
A human being without a task will tear down utopia just to have something to do. And that brings the lecturer to the third and final pillar: ultimate achievement.
And this is where the symbolism gets incredibly cool. On the whiteboard, ultimate achievement is mapped to the creation of earthly immortals, and it uses a specific concept called Younghwa. The key character there is Young, which means dragon.
Right. When modern people think of ultimate achievement, they imagine becoming a CEO, winning an Olympic gold medal, or accumulating massive wealth.
The usual stuff.
But the text throws that out and says the ultimate state of human achievement is becoming a dragon.
My mind immediately goes to sire breathing, or maybe hoarding gold in a cave. Why is a dragon the pinnacle of a purposeful existence?
So we have to dig into the esoteric cosmology of the source material here. In this specific theological framework, the universe isn't built on atoms in a void. It's fundamentally constructed from and powered by a primordial, creative cosmic energy.
Okay.
The text refers to this as Teu, and it is conceptualized as the ultimate foundational water.
Not the water we drink, but like the fluid quantum energy that creates reality.
Yes, exactly. And within this Asian philosophical context, the dragon is the ultimate deity or symbol that commands water. The dragon is the master of this creative energy.
The lecturer actually uses a really striking metaphor in the transcript to explain this. They say a dragon will not hesitate to drag its body through a brutal, thorny, painful path just to find a single drop of water.
And why would a dragon suffer for one drop? Because it doesn't just consume the drop to quench its thirst. With that one single drop of tile, that one unit of cosmic energy, the dragon possesses the mastery to manifest a massive roaring waterfall. It takes the fundamental building block of the universe and scales it up to create something entirely new and incredibly powerful.
So translate that back to a human being living in this earthly paradise. If I achieve this state, am I metaphorically turning into a dragon?
Well, the text calls this ultimate state of mastery Datong. When a human reaches Dotong, they evolve into an earthly immortal.
Okay.
You're no longer just a passive resident enjoying the perfect weather in utopia. You gain the active ability to manipulate this foundational cosmic energy, this tile, just as the dragon manipulates water.
You become a co-creator of the universe.
You become the maintenance crew and the architects of reality. And this is how the philosophy solves the problem of eternal boredom.
That makes so much sense.
Ultimate achievement is being entrusted with a cosmic task. If your daily job is commanding the energy that sustains a forest, or balances the weather, or perhaps even seeds new realities, you are never going to lack a profound sense of purpose.
Instead of striving to hit a quarterly sales goal for some corporation, your goal is maintaining the metaphysical plumbing of existence.
Exactly.
It really brings us full circle to that software update analogy from the beginning. The goal isn't making a human being who is 10% nicer to their neighbors.
No.
The goal is upgrading human consciousness and capability until we are literally running the operating system of the cosmos.
The Yoram takes the chaotic, overwhelming scale of human evolution and anchors it perfectly into 3 buckets: health, environment, and career. It is a masterful piece of philosophical structuring.
It really is. I mean,
Okay.
we started this deep dive looking at what appeared to be an esoteric, impenetrable religious transcript.
Right.
But what we unpacked was an incredibly ambitious, highly structured architectural blueprint for a future utopia.
Yeah.
We explored ultimate welfare, which strips away the need for money or safety nets by demanding absolute self-honesty to eradicate the root cause of karmic disaster. We examine the ultimate environment, a physical world energetically purged of its historical toxicity to provide limitless abundance. And finally, ultimate achievement, where humanity avoids the trap of eternal boredom by evolving into earthly immortals, mastering the very creative energies of the universe.
It is a massive amount of conceptual weight to process. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought to mull over.
Okay.
Because there's a single profound detail tucked away in the text that casts a mirror on our current reality.
I think I know the exact quote you're going to bring up, and it is haunting.
The source text reflects on human history and categorizes the past as the heroic age. It states that during this heroic age, humanity survived by eating sin.
Eating sin.
Meaning our entire progression as a species was fueled by conflict, by conquering one another, by zero-sum competition, and by accumulating karmic debt.
Wow.
That trauma was the caloric fuel of our civilization. But the text claims we're moving into a sage age, an era spanning 50,000 years of limitless progression, where humanity will survive by eating goodness.
Replacing the fuel source of society.
Exactly. So I want you to seriously ponder this. Look around our current world. Almost all of our innovation, our most breathtaking art, our deepest ambitions are entirely fueled by trauma, conflict, and the desperate need to solve crises.
Yeah, that's so true.
We invent miraculous medical technologies because we're terrified of disease. We build incredible engineering marvels to win wars or outcompete economic rivals. The hero's journey requires a dragon to slay in the adversarial sense.
Our greatest achievements are usually just solutions to our deepest suffering.
So if a society truly undergoes this world transformation, if we transition to a state where the only fuel is goodness and absolute frictionless harmony, what does human ambition actually look like?
Yeah.
Without the friction of suffering, without the fire of conflict pushing us forward, how do we propel ourselves? What would your life's ambition be if every single struggle you currently face was completely erased?
What a question. It turns out, staring through that telescope at the grand mechanics of the cosmos actually forces you to take a really hard, uncomfortable look in the mirror at what drives you today.
It really does.
Thank you so much for joining us on this intellectual journey and for exploring the outer limits of this utopian blueprint with us. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.